our comments have exploded
through the roof.
So there you go. Well, I'm looking around for him. My partner in podcasting, not partner in crime, partner in podcasting, is on a much well-earned vacation down at the beach with his family this week. So we wish Ben and the whole McClure crew a great vacation down at the beach. Looks like they got some great weather. So we're happy to do that. I'm here solo with you this week on Lancaster Connects. Excited to have David Lapp from Blessings of Hope join us. You know, David is somebody who really kind of lives out what we often talk about here on the show, and that's asking of our community and understanding as a business that serves our community that time, talents, and treasure are what makes charities and great organizations go round. It's what really helps them serve the people and the needs that they feel connected to and that their things do, right? And so, you know, David is one of these great people who has all of his time is focused in on Blessings of Hope. Tremendous talents to organize and understand that solving world hunger really truly is a mathematical equation. We'll have him talk about that in our time again today because it begs you hearing it. And then treasure, right? So it's not necessarily David's money, but he is a tremendous steward of the money given to him. And so I think that's how we'll bring David onto the show. David, welcome again to Lancaster Connects.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be back. So apparently I didn't say anything wrong the last two times because I think there's the third time that I'm on the show here. So must be doing something right.
You are doing something great, actually. So thank you for taking the time to come back. As the show is opening, I kind of thought maybe we could equate you as to like Waldo. Remember, you know those like Where's Waldo books that are out there for kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of like the traveling man. So today we locked you down at your office here in the area. So excited to have you with us. Thanks for taking the time again.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
And did we lose David?
No, I'm here.
I'm not hearing David.
Well, as far as I know,
hold on 1 second, Lancaster. We'll get this figured out.
Check 1, 2. Can you hear me now?
David, you there yet?
I am here. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Yeah, we should be good to go. I apologize, everybody, for this. Let's start over. David, welcome. We've pinned you down. You're at your office here in the area, in Lancaster, that is. I don't know why I'm being vague about that, but welcome back to the show. Appreciate you being here and taking the time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me. I always enjoy this time of just chatting with you.
Yeah. So, man, it's been a whole bunch of events have happened since you were last on. I think it was prior to the flooding in North Carolina. So we'll talk about that and what you were able to see. And you had some youth group down there that were able to learn a few great life lessons. Talk about all the great stuff you're doing with Blessings of Hope. Mm-hmm. And, you know, let's kind of touch on what I added in the show open about time, talent, and treasure. You know, you donate a tremendous amount of time and give a tremendous amount of time, or rather leading Blessings of Hope. Your talents obviously are great because you look at solving hunger as nothing more than a mathematical equation. I guess that's probably the best place to start. Share with everybody listening and watching why you believe it's a really, I don't want to simplify it by saying it, but it's a mathematical equation.
Yeah, statistics show that half of global food waste would end world hunger. So you know, when we look at this whole issue of world hunger, we see a management issue, not a production issue. And, you know, USDA website states that 30 to 40% of all food produced in America is wasted, and only a fraction of that would end the hunger in the U.S. And, you know, just to break that down for you, it equates to about a semi-truckload of food every 13 seconds. And
Wow.
there is no food shortage. It's a question of how can we utilize what's already being produced, get it to people in need, or in other words, how can we be stewards of what we're entrusted to in this nation, and actually, you know, use that for God's glory and to reach people in need. And it's really a matter of being able to take what's already being produced, and rather than throwing it in the landfill. And, you know, a question we get asked a lot is, why are we saving food from the landfill? If it's trash, why don't we throw it out? Well, what you need to understand is the food that we get is really not trash. It's food that's getting close to expiration date. A lot of what we get is still in date, but it might be close to expiration date, overproduced, misshipped, mislabeled. It's still a perfectly good product. It's just getting towards the end of its useful shelf life or its expiration date life. And, you know, a lot of people look at an expiration date and they say, if this product hits that date, you throw it out. But what they miss, or what they don't understand, is the expiration date simply means that the manufacturer guarantees 100% freshness to that date. And, you know, if it's a week later, the manufacturer can no longer guarantee 100% freshness. It might now only be 98% fresh. It doesn't go from guaranteed 100% to zero when the clock strikes midnight.
Yeah.
So people need to understand that just because it hits that expiration date doesn't say it is now a trash product. It just means that the manufacturer can no longer guarantee 100% freshness.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, such a great point to remind people of. I like how you said it's not a production problem; it's a management problem.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean that's such a appropriate statement, I think, to most anything in life. If you're listening and watching, you might be looking around where you're working right now, or later in the week, if you catch this, thinking about maybe the place you work at or the people you employ. And it's probably not that you need to go hire more people. It's you need to allow them to be more effective. You know, if we look at it from a taxing standpoint, you know, we continue to have record amounts of intake of federal monies, but yet we seem to never have enough money.
Yeah.
So it's not a production problem in my equation of taxes. It's a management problem in the equation of spending. Same thing in food. You know, you've shared stories of the great stuff you do. One of the times you were on, you rescued a literal truckload of ground beef from going in the dumpster. I know my father, when he was still with us, you know, when he was still driving truck, he pulled for Stoltzfus refrigerated trucking out of East Earl. And, you know, he would share sometimes pallets of food would be rejected because he had to report out the thermometer and the temperatures in his truck. And even though the freezer area and the forward of his truck was still frozen because it might have hit above a certain number, nothing unfroze, but they would reject it. Is that the kind of food you take in, I guess?
Absolutely. Yeah. With anymore, you know, with all the technology that's involved in food transportation, like they have these temperature trackers, and if the product goes within 3 degrees too cold or too warm, it automatically rejects the rest of the load of whatever's on that truck.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff we can then receive. Or it's an issue of, you know, I've had people ask me already, why do these warehouses mismanage to this level? And one guy that I was talking to, he was a concreter. So I asked him, so if you're concreting 35 yards, or if you're pouring 35 yards of concrete, you want to order 35 yards of concrete to make sure you don't over order, right? He's like, well, no, he'll order a yard or two extra. I was like, why? You know, if you know you're going to need 35 yards, why do you order 36 yards or 37? He's like, because he doesn't want to run out of concrete before the project's complete. And like, it's exactly the same thing with the food production. You know, one of our one of our major donors shared that since Blessing of Hope is an option, it gives him buying power. Because he said, before, if I know I can sell 14 pallets of a product, I find a deal, I'll buy 20. I mean, now I'll buy 20 because he said, I'll run a special to my customers. Most times I'll sell all 20 pallets. If I don't, I can donate the 1 or 2 pallets that I didn't sell. And the profit margin from the 14 to the 18 more than pays for the 2 that he donates. And then he can get a full tax write-off for the fair market value of the 2 pallets that he donates. And it's a win-win for everybody. And just understanding, if some of these large facilities that we just got into, a 1.4 million square foot facility up in Allentown just this spring, they have waste. It's not a question of do they have waste. It's a question of how much waste do they have and what do they do with that? Are they paying $120 a ton to send that to the landfill, or do they want to donate that to an organization like Blessings of Hope, and then we give them a tax deductible receipt for the fair market value of that product? And it's not a question of if they have waste. It's a question of what do they do with the waste.
Yeah.
And being able, everybody would rather donate that back to the community than to send it to a landfill.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're the catalyst, you're the vehicle for those donations. So I referenced the truckload of ground beef you rescued. Because of your operations, and let's maybe share with everybody watching what those operations now look like, because you've grown since we last talked. I think you have a new facility up and running. Is that correct?
I'm not sure when we last talked, but there's always something new happening.
Right.
So,
right. So let's share. Let's share the operations with people and
just
how
to go
you take
back
that
a little
stuff
bit.
in.
So some of the issue that we saw early on back in 06, 07 was these large corporations have semi-truckloads of food available for donation, but they don't want to deal with 50 organizations every day. Then you have your nonprofit that needs 10 boxes of that semi-truckload, but if they don't take the whole load, they get none of it. So there was a disconnect between the large corporation that wants to donate their product and the nonprofit's capacity of receiving that donation. And it was easier for the corporation to just send it to the landfill and get rid of it. And then the nonprofit wasn't able to utilize the product because they couldn't take the whole load. And so what the model that we've designed at Blessing of Hope is we're able to take the semi-truckload volume when the donor wants to get rid of it and make that available to the nonprofit when the nonprofit needs it. We have over 200 donors that we receive from, over 1,600 nonprofits that we serve on the nonprofit side. And we're a distribution and logistics organization in between.
Yeah, very smart. I want to take a little bit of a left turn in the conversation because I know you're a tremendous man of faith. And we're not going to preach at you here in this moment, but I think it's really important for people to hear your thoughts on this. It's right in your name, Blessings of Hope, right? Mm-hmm. Now, whether you're a faith believer, I'm not really here to even say one faith over another. I think all faiths have a belief in a creator and a belief that that creator gives us blessings and talents and skills to work with in life. Right, David?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so what are those skills that you feel you were blessed with? And how do you recognize them and carry them forward day to day with Blessings of Hope?
Yeah. So if you're familiar with the DISC, the DISC personality profile, mm-hmm. the 4 of us co-founders that serve on the executive team are each very strong in one of those. So I am the high C, I'm the details, I am the behind the scenes guy where I like data, I like numbers, I like to, I would prefer working with a computer over working with people, simply because when you tell the computer to do something, it does what you tell it to do. And people sometimes have another angle to that. And I'm not against working with people, because there's a few people on our team that love working with people, and I bless them in that because they do a tremendous job of that. But somebody has to take care of the details, and I just happen to be the person that was blessed to do that, and I love it. I love the challenge of people ask me what I do if I get stressed. When I get stressed, I find a couple accounts that need to be reconciled, and checking accounts, and I make them line up. And I know some people just laugh at me. It's like, you're crazy. It's like, that causes so much stress. But one thing about numbers is they never lie. They line up. They just do.
Yeah.
And I realize that that's a unique gifting for a lot of people. But yeah, numbers is my thing. Working on reports and that kind of stuff is what excites me. So
Yeah.
and I realize that not a lot of people get excited by that, but I do.
But only David Lapp could answer that question about blessings and faith with, are you familiar with DISC? And then I love how you say, when I'm stressed, I dive into a spreadsheet. Like for me, I'm high I, which is visionary, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, like keep me as far away from spreadsheets as possible. We were talking.
I work with a high I, and it works best if he stays away from spreadsheets and numbers. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Like so much so. So I have a personal business that I have to report out on taxes, and because of my wife's health issues this year, we had to do an extension. And I literally said to her, like, I've been dreading looking over everything she's prepared for that for us. And I literally said to her, we're after this show, I'm getting home to the family and we're going out to Waynesburg to visit a university for my son. And she's going to bring the printouts of the spreadsheets with us, and I can discuss, okay, yep, that's an expense. No, we don't need to take that, or it needs to go here on the ledger or there. And then she'll make the adjustments. Like I just loathe doing that kind of work, but I'm pinned in the car for 4 hours today and 4 hours tomorrow. So we'll make it productive.
Yeah.
But touching on our blessings and recognizing them, I think is so powerful. And that's why I challenge in the show. It's how I opened. It's how we often end. That time, talent, and treasure thing. And what would you say to people to recognize within their talents of how they can give? And maybe that's right back to blessings of hope.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, what they're actually good at and what they enjoy doing is the thing that they almost feel guilty getting paid for is really what they're called to do, is the way I see it. And what really helped us as a team was when we recognized that we don't need to play fair. Just because I enjoy doing something does not mean that the other 3 people on my team enjoy doing that piece of it. And when we realize that we can each do our piece that we enjoy doing, and if we work together as one, we can all get that much more done than if we try to take our turns and to stay fair in what we do. And it's been huge for us, because not only am I doing what I enjoy doing now, but Aaron and Steve and Jake are also enjoy doing what they enjoy doing. And one of Steve's biggest things is conflict. He just loves conflict resolution, and it's like, if he doesn't have conflict to deal with, he'll make conflict so he has it to deal with. I mean, maybe not literally, but it seems that way sometimes. And
just comes in and rips up your spreadsheet.
Yeah, something. But when we recognize that if we have talents and giftings in an area that we're fulfilled in doing, and it also we almost feel guilty getting paid to do them, it's probably where God called us to. And it's one of those things where when we recognize that not everybody enjoys doing what we're doing, and that we don't need to play fair, because what's good for me might not be good for you. The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But the flip side of that is actually, just because you like to do something doesn't mean that they do. So getting to know what they like to do and empowering them in that can be a huge success for everybody.
You just brought one of the golden principles of faith and Christian religion from the Bible into a tremendous business setting and lesson. I wondered where you were going with that. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But then if they don't like spreadsheets, or they don't like conflict resolution, or they don't like having to role play and get in front of people, or they're not a people person, it wouldn't be right to put that person in that position.
Yeah.
And so your executive team, through this focus, to bring this back in focus for Blessings of Hope and what you've done, I think it's important for everybody to hear. to quantify your work, how many millions of meals do you serve annually now?
This year we're on track to do about 30 million meals, roughly.
Yeah. So that's actually about 10% more than the notes we put together when we booked you on the show. So like, so you guys are just constantly growing, constantly taking off,
it's
doing good.
What we're finding is building the infrastructure, building the processes is really what allows us to grow. And there is no limit to the available product or the need. At least we haven't gotten close to finding the limit on either side. Right. So the question is, how fast can we build that infrastructure in between to connect the mountain on either side and bring it together and steward more of what's already being wasted and what's already being produced?
Yeah. Yeah. That stewardship is a really important word. Because when you look at the amount of food waste, would you say a truckload every 13 seconds?
Yeah, according to the USDA website, 30 to 40% of all food produced in America is wasted, and it equates to about a semi-truckload of food every 13 seconds. And it's there is no food shortage.
Right. And just, do you know how that compare? Like, how does the U.S. compare in waste to other nations, like other Western nations?
I don't know, but I know that the U.S. is the leader in food waste. It's like we live in a country that wastes more than any other country in the world. Like there's so much waste in the U.S.
I love our nation. I really do. I became a citizen of it 6 years ago. My documents, I got framed up nice. I got word from the framer this morning. They're done, so I get to pick them up this week. But I don't love the fact that we lead there. That's a shame. Yeah. I'm grateful for people like you and your team and everybody that does work with Blessings of Hope, that you're there with that infrastructure. Again, so to reiterate for people, just in case they missed it, Blessings of Hope sits in between from food production to where it might hit the landfill. You're that critical distribution channel that exists to then spread out all that food. So who are the types of organizations that visit your distribution center?
So we serve anything from a halfway house serving 5 men coming out of prison to a church in Baltimore that's serving 500 people a day out of their basement, and anything in between.
Wow. So
our model is we bring in the semi-truckload volume, we'll sort the food, we'll repackage it, we'll make it into as user-friendly as we can. And then we have nonprofit organizations. So we're open to any nonprofit serving the community at whatever capacity that we can serve them. They'll come into our food selection center. We have a 29,000 square foot here right beside McCaskey here in Lancaster. And then we have a 12,000 square foot in Campbellsville, Kentucky, where the organizations come in to select whatever they see on display, any volume they can use, and then they'll pay a handling fee to cover our costs to get the food to them. At this point, the handling fee is 34 cents a pound. So they'll come in, they'll grab a shopping cart, 29,000 square foot facility, anything they see on display, any volume they can use. Doesn't matter if it's snacks, if it's fresh produce, if it's drink. They're not paying for the food. What they're paying for is the opportunity to come to one location, select whatever volume of food that they want from 200 plus donors, and use that to restock their pantry. So the funding generated through the handling fees goes to cover our costs to bring it in, logistics, warehousing, our employees, and then anything related to getting the product to the nonprofit. And it allows us to operate completely independent from government funding, which cuts a lot of red tape, a lot of restrictions around sharing the gospel, around sharing, educational programs when you're giving out food. And we believe that, if we can not only supply the needs of the people, but help them overcome the challenges that keep them down in life to where they don't need the food anymore, then once we hit that point, that's when we feel like it's been a success. Once you take somebody that's on food stamps, or they're just living day to day, barely getting by, to where they now have a job, they're able to pay the bills, they're able to give back to society. Once we can take somebody that cycle, now we have as a community, we have created like we're not just taking from the community, we're actually giving back to the community. And what we see as community is as a healthy community functions similar to a bank account. If you take more from the bank account than you put in, your funds are going to go down. Same way in a community. If you have more people taking than are giving, then everybody's going to suffer from that. But if as a community we can contribute more than we take, now everybody can grow and we can be a thriving community. We can actually be there for each other. And if a community has excess and somebody stumbles, then you can step in and support them out of your excess. If a whole community is already down below the poverty line and somebody stumbles, now you're looking at, okay, what can I take from them because they're down, they're in a weak spot. What can I take from them and help me grow? But it's really a very similar concept to a bank account where if you have more people contributing than you have taking, everybody's going to grow.
That's just beautiful, man. I love everything you just said. I mean, I'm not saying that to placate you. I'm not saying that because I'm the host and you're the guest on the show. Man, what I just heard is fantastic. And as you wrap it up, I'm like, this guy needs to be speaking at big events. I mean, just the juxtaposition of being former Amish, right, to running a massive operation that if you were to probably value it in, I don't know if you've done this exercise, but like I don't know that it's even worthy of an exercise to do it for you because it's not in your focus, but like if you were to value your company in not the charitable efforts you do, it's probably a huge multiple, right? Like tremendous valuation.
Yeah.
You just dropped a whole bunch of wisdom. I want people to go back about 27 minutes in. If you're listening, go back 3-4 minutes ago to 23 minutes in and re-listen to what David just said, because just tremendous insights about how to think about life, how to think about your community, look at it as a bank account. You touched on 34 cents, and I had a visual come to mind. Those like give a penny, take a penny jars at the Wawa or the restaurants. I often see quarters, nickels, and dimes. So to give everybody watching and listening more context, every time you see a quarter and a dime, or to line it up exactly, a quarter, a nickel, and 4 pennies, that's a pound of food.
Yeah.
Which is by all accounts, that's a meal.
Yeah.
Right. You got 6 to 8 ounces of protein and about the same in a couple vegetables. And there's blessings of hope in David and his team putting food in somebody's belly that really needs it.
Mm-hmm.
And people are just casting that aside at the Wawa because they don't want to carry change.
Yep.
But here comes David and his team picking up the food, running it through all their logistics. So it's such a value. I mean, how do you get it to 34 cents a pound?
I don't know. Because of the vast volume of food that we distribute, if you're moving a semi truckload of 40,000 pounds of product at a time, you take that times 34 cents a pound. It's roughly where we're at as a cost to distribute.
Yeah, I mean, I said that, I guess, kind of like in a rhetorical wow statement, right? Not to put you on the spot. I know you've got it in your spreadsheet somewhere. Right, you've got it figured out.
We have quite a few dashboards that pull live data multiple times a day, and it allows us to see exactly where we're at. It's been invaluable just to be able to stay on top of some of the growth to where. See, one of the things that I'm not sure where we got this concept, but I've heard a couple of years ago that if you can reduce your growth to percentages and equations, there's no limit on how big you can get, because it's all based on, does it make sense or doesn't it? And if you add another zero on the end or a few more zeros, it's just numbers, but it equates to percentages and equations. And does it, it's just that much more volume that you can do with the same amount of, as long as your percentages stay in line.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that mathematical equation again, right?
Yeah.
You had shared on the last show you were on with us, the the eye for growth you had and bringing in other investors into
Mhm.
your facilities and your operations. How's that been going for you?
So that's actually the last year. That was probably the biggest thing that I was working on, was just the whole opportunity around. So we're looking at scaling nationally. Okay, what is a national Blessing of Hope organization look like? And we believe that we have an opportunity to completely replace the welfare system of America. We believe, as a member of the body of Christ, if we can take care of the needs of the community, we believe we can do that at a more economical manner than the government can. Because I don't think the government was ever supposed to be in welfare, but we can't fault them. We can't fault people for stepping in and taking care of the community, if it wasn't being done. But I believe, as the church, as the community, we can do a better job of taking care of our own communities than the government can. And so we're looking at, okay, what does scaling look like? Welfare costs American taxpayers $1.2 trillion a year. So we're like, okay, step this thing down. What would we need to grow to national infrastructure? And what we're looking at is probably around 20 million square foot of warehouse space and about 500 to 600 food selection centers that are 30 to 40,000 square foot each. With that investment, we believe we could scale to a national level where we would be serving every major city in America, within a couple hour truck drive, with food. So a few of the things that we were looking at, as we're looking at scaling, is what is the availability of product? If we live in a nation that wastes a semi truckload of food every 13 seconds, that's not an issue. There is so much food out there.
Right.
So far this year, we have turned away almost 600 semi truckloads of food that we were offered that we said no to, simply because of capacity. So as we were looking at scaling, it was like, okay, what's the best way to scale? Because, obviously scaling at that level is a pretty significant investment. So we believe with about $15 to $20 billion, we could scale to national infrastructure. Just to break that down to you, let's say it would take 10 times the investment and we can do a 10% reduction on welfare. We're still looking at almost 100% return on investment annually. If it would take 10 times the cost that we're expecting to build this out, and we could do a 10% reduction, we're looking at almost 100% return on investment annually. That would be an investment in real estate infrastructure versus just a payout. So we look at this and it's like, we can't afford not to try. We can't afford to just sit here and say, well, it's impossible. So some of the steps that we've been taking in that direction is, do we just go out and lease buildings? But the challenge with leasing buildings, now you're dealing with landlords in every city, you're dealing with rent increases, you're dealing with putting significant infrastructure into somebody's building that you don't own, like cooling, refrigeration, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it's not a good option. So the next thing we were looking at is, do we just find banks that want to finance this in these different areas? And that wasn't looking at like a good option either. What we came up with last year, working with a local attorney and a CPA firm, we came up with a strategy. It's called Hope RE Funding, which is basically it's a nonprofit to raise capital for the real estate infrastructure for Blessings of Hope. And then we have Hope RE Holdings that will own the real estate and lease it to Blessings of Hope. So it's all controlled by the same entity or by the same organization, to where we're raising the capital to own the real estate, building out the real estate, and then leasing it to Blessings of Hope. And everything's based on a 25-year amortization. So 25 years, Blessings of Hope will be paying the properties down to zero. At that point, it would be owned by the same infrastructure. So what we did last year is we launched a private investment fund to where individuals can invest in through what's known as a 506c offering. So you need to be an accredited investor. Not going to get into all the details around that, but it's basically somebody that has $1 million net worth or more can invest into our fund. Yeah. The primary people that we're looking for, there's a few types of people that we're looking for. One is somebody that has capital in a donor advised fund that they don't want to donate, but they want to invest that and earn a return while it's sitting there we can invest that through the Impact Foundation. Another is, so I had a local businessman told us, he said he has $1 million in a CD earning 4% interest. Him and his wife are planning on living off that interest the rest of their life and then donating $1 million in his will. So he said, are you telling me I could invest that $1 million into your fund? You could pay me the 4% interest the rest of my life, and then I'd donate the principal in my will. We're like, absolutely. That's a home run. If we get capital that he would get the same return that he's currently expecting from a bank. In the meantime, he can see his money work, and then he can make a difference. Another example is somebody that just sold a business for a crazy amount of money and wants to make a difference, whether that's through a donation or through an investment. He can still earn a return on that, the rest of his life or however long he wants to. At any point, that could turn into a donation if he chooses to. But that's the type of people that we're looking for, people that have had significant success in life, and they want to make a difference with that capital, and they're not just looking for the 10, 12, 15% return on that capital.
Yeah, and it's a big conversation, as you said.
I'm happy to sit down with anybody and answer any questions around it. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how it works and what's legal, what's not legal, and just being able to I'm happy to sit down and answer any questions around it.
Yeah. So David called out quite a few people. You can reach him, David@lappbrothers.com, or any of the notes and contact handles that we have with this show. But as he said, if you have a significant wealth that you could invest, that's great. If you've sold a business or have come into money from results of your efforts and want to see that perform for you while doing tremendous good and earning more than just your traditionally very conservative rates of return in other investments like a CD, then Blessings of Hope's real estate fund and impact fund would be a tremendous place to do that.
Yeah.
So
just to reiterate here and clarify, you need to be an accredited investor in order to even qualify. Basically you would need at least $1 million net worth outside of your personal residence in order to even qualify.
Yeah. And to placate lawyers, we're not offering financial advice. There's no guarantees of return. What else do I need to say, David?
We have a full PPM, private placement memorandum, that you have to read through and agree to. Like we are, we're not giving financial advice, but we are legally allowed to publicly share this information because it's a 506c offering.
Yeah. And I don't say it that way to make light of it or anything, because money is something to be taken very seriously. Money can do a tremendous amount of good, and that's what David's doing with it. But I just love that you're doing this, looking at the growth the way you did. And again, it comes down to that mathematical equation. I think if anybody who would be listening who might take issue with saying, well, why does the welfare system exist? Why does government feel the need to be in this place? Listen, you can take those statements any which way you like, but I think when you look at what David shared, just the math, again, the numbers don't lie. When you look at the math and you look at the plan, David has thought very intentionally about this, and knows his numbers and is doing it. He's seen it. How much does it pain you to turn away 600 trucks this year?
Well, probably not enough. One of the things I personally have to guard against is I try to go to the store at least once a month, buy a little bit of something, because it is very easy for me to forget that food has value. We get offered so much food on a daily basis.
Wow.
Hundreds of semi-truckloads a month of food that would retail for $50,000 to $100,000, and we say yes or no to it based on if we have the capacity to take it or not. The 600 semi-truckloads of food that we turned away, if you would even figure $10,000 a load, that's what, 60,000?
That's $6 million.
$6 million worth of food that we turned away this year. So, one of the things I personally have to guard against is I have to remember that food has value, because
that's a tremendous
we get offered so much food on a daily basis that, like I said, would retail for $50,000 to $100,000 or more.
Yeah. That's just a tremendous perspective what you shared there, and that translates to anybody watching and listening. Everybody's got talents. Everybody has their thing, and it's so easy to forget. I forget that I have any choice of a mattress in our home, and we do. My boys sleep on amazing mattresses. In our guest room, we have an amazing mattress, and it's easy for me to forget. And I remind myself of that. But what a tremendous perspective you just shared there. So your path for growth exists. We know solving world hunger is an equation. Let's say Lancaster Connects, this equation of solving world hunger goes viral, and you have the $20 billion is in your bank account, not your bank account, the 506c3's bank account. He said it, he has it. I'm not making it up. Let's just say it all goes and works. What's the path to solving this equation? If all the obstacles are out of the way, how quickly do you get up and running, and what's it look like?
Well, our 10-year goal is to have 88 food selection centers across the nation and 4 million square foot of warehouse space. That would give us a food selection center in every major city that has a population of 250,000 or more. So basically what we're seeing as a means to get there is, for example, we would go to Indiana, to Ohio, wherever, find people that have a passion to grow a team, to build out the local community or engage the local community. And then we bring our model to that area, and we just start doing what we're doing here, just bringing in the volume. Like I said earlier, we recognized early on that we need to be able to compete with the landfill, and it has to be hassle-free. It has to be able to take large volume, and we need to get it out of their way when they want to get rid of it. If you can meet those equations, there is so much product out there that it's actually sad how much available product is out there.
Yeah.
And it's a national issue. It's not just a Northeast PA or a Northeast US or a Lancaster PA issue. It's a national issue.
Yeah.
And I believe we have a solution to solve it on a national level, actually on an international level as well.
Yeah. Well, if anybody's thought about it, it's you. And I have no doubt you'll hit that 10-year goal. As we look to wrap up our time, let's remind people locally what's right here in their backyard. You've got your food selection center where your volunteer ministry center is, partner centers housed. So again, reiterate the types of people that can come in locally to benefit from all the great work you're doing and how all that works.
So the way our program works is we are open to any nonprofit at whatever capacity, whether you want to come once a month and get 20 pounds of food, or you want to come every week and get 2 semi-truckloads of food. And any volume. Like what I'm saying is, you don't have, like, if you sign up with us, you get 2 ministry access cards, gives you access to our food selection center 6 days a week. Whatever you see on display, if you get 10 pounds of food, or like I said, 2 semi-truckloads or anything in between, that is completely up to you. So our facility here at Lancaster is a 29,000 square foot facility. Pallets of products set out. You walk through. You decide what you can use, and you can take that along at the 34 cents a pound handling fee. We are not open to the general public. We're open to nonprofits. We do allow the general public to volunteer with us. It's like a 2.5-hour shift where they're either sorting food, packing boxes, stocking shelves, truck driver, mechanic, anything. Like if you have specialty skills in volunteering, let us know. We're happy to put your skills to work. And if we can have volunteers doing the work, then it cuts down on our cost to operate. But we see about 1,300 volunteers a week that are just helping out at whatever capacity. After their shift, they get a voucher that's good for 1 trip to our food selection center. That voucher expires in, I think it's either 60 or 90 days. So you don't have to use it right away. Anytime in the next couple weeks, month, whatever, you can go to our food selection center, That voucher gets you in the door. You grab a shopping cart, anything you see on display, any volume you can use, you'll pay us 60 cents a pound handling fee. To break that down, for a shopping cart full of food, you're usually paying around $50 for it.
Yep.
And that's a tremendous cash flow generator for the ministry, which helps us pay our bills, helps us pay our staff, helps us keep our lights on, keep the trucks on the road, that kind of stuff. So it's a win-win for everybody. And what we're seeing is, if people can come in and give a little bit of their time, help move the ministry forward, in exchange, we can bless them with groceries at a very reduced price. Then they help fund the ministry through that. Yet it's really tremendous.
Yeah. I mean, your gifts, and I'm not afraid to say it, your gifts from God are really to look at a problem differently and just create all different types of access and opportunity and success from any one given problem. Maybe that's just not David. It's probably your whole, well, it is your whole team. But I love how you bring it together to the time, talent. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Our belief is that problems are meant to have solutions for them. We don't look at a problem and say, well, this one's too big to solve. We look at a problem and saying, okay, what's this? How do we overcome this? What's the God-given solution for this issue? How can we turn a negative into a positive and use that for God's glory and for the good of the community, and just empower everyone along the way and be a win-win in every step of the way.
Yeah, love it. And so to the time, talent, and treasure equation, obviously treasure money can be donated. You go to Blessings of Hope to their website, various places on social media. You can connect to a donation page and donate money. Time, you can volunteer right there, packing, processing, helping in the facility. The talent thing, I'm glad you touched on that. So, if you have specific talents like driving a truck, wrenching on a truck, what about HVAC techs? Can you use them?
Yeah.
Because food's got to stay cold and frozen.
Any talent that a typical food handling business would use, we can put you to work. Yeah.
Come on in. You'll welcome them in. Yeah.
Even I know this might sound crazy, but we're actually in need of a rodent control volunteer right now. Somebody that would walk through our buildings once or twice a week, make sure the traps are clean, make sure the bait's out, that kind of a thing. It's a little thing that a lot of people don't think about, but it's if you have a passion of keeping the rodents under control in a food facility, reach out to our team and see if we can put you to work. But there's literally any aspect of a business, Blessings of Hope. Yes, it's a nonprofit, but the main factor of a nonprofit versus a for-profit, the way we see it, is at the end of the day, if there's profit, it goes back into the community, it goes back into the organization. As founders, we don't do profit sharing; it goes back to the ministry. Whereas if we were a for-profit, if there's extra money at the end of the year, we do profit sharing. So other than that, the organization runs just like any other business from a mathematical equation standpoint, or the way it operates and functions as an organization.
Yeah. No, very good point. And you want that profit at the end of the year or end of the quarter to be as big as possible, because it gets dumped right back in.
Goes right back into the organization, and we can do that much more impact with that. I mean, at 34 cents a pound distributing food, if we have $100,000 left over at the end of the month, it just means the next month we don't turn down as much food as we did the month before, and we'll do a few more outreaches with that.
Yeah, love it. So as we look to wrap up, you said the 10-year goal, 88 centers serving all city populations of 250,000 people or more. What's that next first jump off into that 10-year plan? Can you share what that next thing is?
So our first step in that in the capital raise side of it is a $30 million raise, which would take out all of our current. So we're transferring the properties from Blessings of Hope to Hope Already Holdings, which is a nonprofit set up to hold the real estate. So the first raise is a $30 million raise, takes out all of our current properties, It'll finish out the E-Town project, which is a large-scale food dehydration project, and it'll give us another food selection center out close to in the Philadelphia region somewhere. So that's our first raise. After that, we have about 15 to 20 states that want us to bring Blessings of Hope to their region. So what our strategy is then is now we can go to Indiana, we can go to Ohio, we can go to North Carolina, we can go to West Virginia, we can go to wherever, and let them know that we need a 40,000 square foot facility. We need X amount of dollars. We need a few people that are passionate to run it. And we'll see who responds first, helping raise the capital, helping find the people in their community. And whoever, if it makes sense to go into that area, then we'll expand into that region. I just had a gentleman from Arizona tell me about a month ago, he said, once we're ready for Arizona, he wants to fund our facility. Well, Arizona is not the next step, because we do need to grow out from the Northeast U.S., grow out strategically, or we're going to run into a lot of extra trucking. If we just go to Arizona next and we don't have infrastructure in that area, we don't have relationships in that area yet, because it's crucial that we have the infrastructure behind the scenes to support the growth as we grow out.
Yeah, because if you don't, your food selection price per pound isn't 34 cents. It might be $3.40.
Yeah. And it's not feasible.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I love the focus you have. God bless you for sure. Appreciate all you're doing for everybody that needs what Blessings of Hope does, and that's to feed and provide nourishment and opportunity and hope, God-given hope for everybody that you serve. I love you for it. I appreciate you immensely. We got to know you a little bit. You mind if we ask you a few more questions, kind of see what makes David Lapp tick? Is that all right?
Go for it.
All right. So this is what we like to call our connection cocktail. So you have a favorite book, a podcast, a TV show that you're watching right now that you really like?
Book, I would say one of my favorites would be Horst Schultz, Excellence Wins.
Okay.
Definitely been a good one. There's a number of books that I try to read about 2 a month, and there's a number of good books out there. Chasing Failure is another good one by Ryan Leake, where we don't put limits on ourselves. We just keep pushing and see where we can go. That's definitely a few of the more recent ones.
Yeah, I don't think you take a lot of time off. I know you like ice cream.
Yep.
But if you were to take a dream
vacation,
vacation,
ice cream is my favorite vegetable.
Mine too. I had
peanut butter swirl.
Okay, so you're more of the chocolate variety. Yeah, I had a peach sundae last night. But if you were to take time off and it's a dream vacation, let's say you execute this 10-year plan in 4.5 years, where's that dream vacation happening?
I don't know. I don't vacation as easy as some people do. Like if I go somewhere, I tend to just want to sleep or just sit around and do nothing. We had a church retreat a couple of weeks ago, and it's like every minute of our weekend was planned, and I was like, this wasn't even a vacation. It's like you come back from a weekend like that, and it feels like you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah.
But probably international. I would say probably Israel would something that we want to do as a couple sometime before too long. I've been to Israel before, and it's a beautiful country.
Okay, very good. All right, so your favorite local spot in Lancaster? Maybe it's a place to get ice cream.
Oregon Dairy's ice cream bar I stop in there frequently, but Agape Cafe over in Strasburg is another great place to go to.
Yeah, you were nice enough to take Ben and I there for breakfast one day, and we appreciated that. Or was it lunch? Either way, it was nice. Yeah. Either way, it was very nice. All right, there you have it. You got some business book recommendations from David. Israel as that dream vacation spot, and either Oregon Dairy's ice cream bar, which if you bump into them, say hello, and Agape Cafe there in Strasburg. David, it's been a pleasure to hang out with you again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks for stopping by.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, love everything that David's doing at Blessings of Hope. If you can donate your time, your talents, your treasures, please make sure to check out everything that he does. I'm going to wrap up the show now. I'm running a little bit behind on my schedule, but appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. Here at Gardener's Mattress and More, we're proud to be a part of our community, make deposits into our community. As David said, a good community runs on more deposits than it does withdrawals, and that's what this show is about. If you want to be a guest on the show, if you're a charity doing great, a business doing great things for our community, go to lancasterconnects.com/guest, and we'll start the process off to get you on the show. We really appreciate you taking the time. If you can, please like, share, subscribe this show, share out those reels you see, pass along. Maybe you know somebody that could work with Blessings of Hope on that investment side. That would be great. If you're a business and you want to bring your people out for a community building team event, Blessings of Hope would be great to do it. We really want our impact, our time in this show to sprinkle out like that, to make connections in the community, lift up our community. That's why we do it. It's a belief system we have here at Gardeners. It's more than just selling a mattress. It's having tremendous impact, tremendous purpose in our community to help Lancaster be an amazing place to live and amazing place to have a family, amazing place to grow up, amazing place to work. That's what we're here to do. So that's this week's show. You'll have Ben and I together next week, and you'll learn more about our purpose and our mission, kind of deeper dive of what I just shared. You'll see that next week on our show. We're going to be covering that topic. Until then, we'll see you next time, Lancaster. Take care. Comments of this floating through the roof. So there you go.